All right, hello everyone. I am Unvetica.eth, and today I am joined by Colfax and GraspOnCrypo. And today is none other than the GitCoin Grant Shillfest 5000. I'm very excited to, there we go, to really share exactly what GitCoin is, how it works, and more importantly, the GitCoin grants that we've got published out there. To get into it right away, the GitCoin platform is pretty exciting. It's basically, and either of you correct me if I'm wrong or step in here, but my understanding is that it's sort of a slew of tools. We're focusing today on the GitCoin grant aspect of it, which allows for anyone with a blockchain-based program or idea to submit that idea and get potential funding for it. And what makes GitCoin so interesting is that it relies on something called quadratic funding. In fact, what I will do and what I want to do here is just play a 60-second clip of the quadratic funding on their website.
Quadratic funding is the mathematically optimal way to fund an ecosystem in a democratic way. The secret behind quadratic funding is the math, and it's not as complicated as it sounds. This is how it works. QF is basically a crowdfunding campaign wherein you match contributions from everyday citizens with a pool raised from bigger donors. The neat thing about quadratic funding is how it optimizes around the grants funded by the crowdfunding campaign. Here's an example. If you have 4 grants in a $1,000 matching round, and Grant A raises $10 from 10 different contributors, and Grant B raises $10 from 1 contributor, Grant A will get way more of the matching funds because it's supported by a broader swath of the community. During the quadratic funding round, a donation of $10 can be matched with $75, and a $100 donation can be matched with $240 because of the QF formula. Because the matching multiples are so promising for the best projects, quadratic funding has gotten a lot of traction. The Ethereum community has raised over $4 million from quadratic funding campaigns contributed to by 500 people. Quadratic funding powers a mesh network of small donors who are supporting the very best projects in the Ethereum space. To learn more about how quadratic funding could power your ecosystem's growth, check out WTFisQF.com.
But that really isn't the point of this call. The point of this call is to showcase some of these grants that we've got out there. And what I want to open up with is a couple here. And let's start with Stakehouse. And that's probably because it's the most exciting because we're part of it. And also, it's the most useful, right? So we're getting into tools to help newbies here, and to explain that further, I'm going to hand that over to Colfax a little bit, because that's his baby, that's his project, and I'll have him explain that one.
Thanks, Michael. What a high accolade. I don't know if it's the most exciting. There's so much exciting stuff out there. It's definitely exciting. I'm excited about it. But I guess on the high level, I mean, what Stakehouse is, what our goal is to lower the technical bar to staking on Ethereum 2. And the way that we're going about that is we're building a GUI base, like a graphical user interface, one-click installer to help you set up all the infrastructure required to stake on Ethereum 2. So that's your ETH1 node, taking care of syncing that, your ETH2 beacon node, and your ETH2 validator. And we're leveraging a lot of existing tooling. So of course, the existing clients that are supported, we're going to be supporting all ETH2 clients so that we can promote client diversity. And a lot of thought and effort has been put into the Ethereum 2 Launchpad, which is an incredible tool. So we're actually building that into our workflow as well. And it's pretty exciting. So
I love it. I want to break that down some more, because you're going over some huge details there, and I think I really want to break it down for those that aren't in the know here. And I think why that's so important is, so you're building this one-click installer, which is incredible. And for those that don't really know the significance of that, why it's so neat is, if I want to stake on Ethereum 2.0, there are multiple components that I have to set up and then sort of support on my own. I have to know that I have to set up an ETH1 node. I have to know how to set up an ETH2 node. I have to get the beacon chain working, and make sure that the hardware is compliant, and monitor all these different, basically a whole stack. And for those new to the scene, but it can be a very overwhelming experience. So what you're saying is that this tool basically consolidates all of those things into a single GUI where I don't have to deal with necessarily the command line. It just does this. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying, but it's working. I guess, do you think it would be useful? Should I pop it up on the screen?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and do that. While you're doing that, I do want to also sort of point out too, one of the reasons why we as ETHStaker love this platform and the potential for this tool so much, and to kind of echo Superfizz, or the Beacon Chain Health Coordinator, one of the things that he advocates so much for is the health of the beacon chain. And this tool helps with that in the sense that it, just like you said, uses all of the ETH2 clients. We're not just locking into one. So having that diversity helps maintain the overall health of the beacon chain, which is wonderful.
On that note, I'll just try and say a couple other things. That's sort of when I was thinking about this. Right now, many people who want to contribute to a healthy chain, if they have technical abilities, they can. But if they have, of course, the ETH to contribute, but people without the technical abilities, even if they have the ETH, they can't really contribute super easily. So that's the idea of sort of like opening up that market.
Yep.
And I can't overemphasize how much we Stakehouse are standing on the shoulders of giants here, because basically we're just building the last sort of little configuration mechanism on top of so many other tools. So of course the ETH2 clients, we actually utilize the Rocket Pool installer under the hood. And we use so many other tools that are from the community, and we sort of just glue them all together into one user interface.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, I will show you Stakehouse. So this is it. And again, I will emphasize again, this is very much early stage release. This is our first release. It's actually not even fully bundled to a desktop application yet. If you are watching this and you either have some experience with React or command line tools setting up ETH2 clients, or you have a passion or a desire to even learn any of that stuff, please reach out. There's a big list of to-dos that we want to do. This is fully open source and meant to be a community-driven project. We want to sort of build a community around building out this tool as well as other tools that help with ETH2 staking. So this is sort of the main screen. It sort of gives you a little bit of information about what Stakehouse is going to do. And you can go ahead and click enter here. It automatically runs some system checks. So there are certain underlying things that either need to be installed or some underlying hardware requirements. Right now, it just runs a few, and we have a list of about maybe 10 others that would be useful to check. So we're going to add more checks here, but so far our system looks good to install. And let's go ahead and click install. Oh, quickly though, under advanced, you can select some more options eventually once we build out those features. For now, as you see here, it says we will pick a random ETH1 and ETH2 client for client diversity, as we were talking about before.
Love it.
But eventually we'd like to be able to configure it for the more advanced users that want to have a little bit more control. So without further ado, we'll click install. You actually need to input the password here to install some of the system tools.
Okay.
And what Michael was saying before, this next button click is going to do everything sort of for you. So I guess, Michael, do you want to talk about a little bit what steps need to normally happen to install or set up an ETH2 staking rig while this is sort of doing it for us?
Right. So this is kind of fun and interesting. So to put this give this some real context here. So Colfax mentioned the Validator Workshop that the ETHStaker community hosted a few months back. Now that workshop, we took a bare metal server and we spun up on the Piermont testnet. That took about 3.5 hours or so, was that workshop, start to finish. And everything that we did in there, from setting up a Geth ETH1 node to setting up a Lighthouse ETH2 beacon validator, and then making sure that the user permissions and everything else is set up, there's all of that we have to do manually, and it's all done via the command line. Colfax just did that in less than 2 minutes with 2 button clicks. Like that was, I mean, initiated really that with 1 button click, and the program does it all for you. There's no interacting, and it's honestly, this is my favorite part to watch. To know that we went from such a manual process to this is just outstanding.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It still gives me chills a little bit seeing it work every time. Admittedly, I'm a little worried it's going to somehow not work, but it's exciting to see that it does. And so as you can see here, there are definitely some UI tweaks that still need to be worked out. GraspOnCrypo has already sort of jumped on and offered to build out some more features for the screen. But I'll talk through a few things that you're seeing. Here you can see, so your ETH1 node, your ETH2 beacon node, and your ETH2 validator. These are the 3 core applications that need to be running in order for you to be staking on the ETH2 network. There are some statuses here sort of letting you know what's going on. Your ETH1 node needs to basically gather all the information from all the other nodes going back quite some time. So the syncing process takes a decent amount of time. It could actually even take like a few days or a week. So this is sort of telling you here, this is telling you how many peers you have. We're still gathering some peers. 1's not a huge number. So here's sort of telling you the health of your system right here. You can see your ETH2 client you're running is Lighthouse. The syncing state, we have some more, we want to make it a little bit more granular so you have a little deep understanding of what's going on. So we're working on that. Here's a few fun things to do while you're waiting for your stuff to sync. You can join the ETHStaker Discord, ETHStaker subreddit. What an incredible community that can answer any questions for you, not only learning, but troubleshooting issues. Quick shout out to the Ethereum Studymaster program, which is also run by our good friend Michael /Unvetica.eth, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Maybe I should actually link that here. That would be incredible.
Hey, I'm not going to say no. I mean, go for it.
We'll talk about that afterwards. That would be fun. And yeah, sort of just some resources to learn, troubleshoot, grab some Gorley ETH. This is just supported for the test network right now. And EtherScan and Beacon Chain are 2 good useful tools that'll give you some info. If you are interested in getting a little bit more technical, you can click here to view the logs. That will either help you understand what's going on underlying for yourself, or if you have any issues, you can help use these logs to get somebody to help you troubleshoot what's going on. And that's really it. When the syncing is done, what we'd eventually like to do, we've built out another screen, but it's not accessible right now because it's syncing, to send you over to the Ethereum Launchpad to do your deposit, create your keys, and officially connect that validator and start attesting and proposing blocks. But right now, that's still under development because we want to be very careful with that development, since that's where the Ether actually gets involved. So
right. Well, and to your point, basically to kind of zoom out here and circle back into the GitCoin grants, all of these would be nice features that you've pointed out are effectively the things that you can tackle right away if and when you get that funding. It allows you and frees up and provides the resources in order to facilitate those updates.
Thanks again for the opportunity to talk about it, and yeah, just share with the community. I mean, the last thing I'll emphasize is the whole mission of Stakehouse is to serve the community, and to build a tool that will be helpful for the community, for users that want to stake on ETH2, to promote the health of the Beacon chain, and that's really our mission. So if you have any suggestions for how we can better improve features, if you want to help out, we are all ears, and that's sort of why we're here. And so we're excited about the opportunity to do the GitCoin grant, because that'll just sort of help us facilitate more effort towards building out this tool and serving the community. So
absolutely. Love it. Very exciting stuff.
Thanks. We have a to-do list of like at least 20 to-dos right now, I think, on our README. So there's plenty of ideas.
That's actually a good point. So for those watching the recording, everything that we reference, both from the GitCoin grants all the way to things like the GitHub repo for this project, we'll link to the description of this video, so it's easy for you to access these things. We went over Stakehouse and why that would be advantageous for anyone looking to dip their toe into the staking realm. Sort of in that same spectrum, one of the other grants out there is for the EDDC, which is the Ethereum Due Diligence Committee. And for those of you who aren't familiar with this committee, it was something birthed from the ETHStaker community. It was an idea actually of Superfizzes. And the idea for this committee was to help guide anyone looking to solicit a staking pool service. There's potential risk and there's opportunity for bad actors. So to help navigate the ecosystem, we've created the EDDC, which goes out to all of the staking pools that are out currently today. Every single one of them we've reached out to establish who they are, how their systems work, and just ask basic questions. Are you insured? Where are you located? What are your tokenomics? Just real basic questions to give more insights for consumers to make better educated financial decisions. Now, we do have a website up for those interested in learning more about the Ethereum Due Diligence Committee. That's ETHDDC.org. The committee meets every single Wednesday. It's streamed live on the ETHStaker YouTube channel, and then we post the recordings on the channel as well. But this just gives brief information in terms of who we are, what we're trying to achieve, and then we can see the preliminary information on the staking pools now. So if we click into these, we've sent over questionnaires to these respective staking pools to ask exactly what we talked about. Who are their owners, how are their teams made, what are their tokenomics, where are they located, to give some more insights. Now, this is just sort of an alpha version of the site. This should launch fully in the next couple weeks here. So I do want to point out that we do have a grant available for them. If you want to see more progress being made within this group, this is a great opportunity to help fund and push the progress being made. So things like a more immersive and more intuitive website, quicker turnarounds on evaluations of staking pools, more exposure to the meetings, things like that will be able to facilitate with additional funding. So this is one more out there. So again, so we went from Stakehouse, which is like basically hands-on staking, to EDDC, which helps with staking pools. But if we zoom out even further and kind of transition to the next grant out there, which is the Ethereum Studymaster. And this is a great platform for those that have no idea what the hell we're talking about with the first two grants. If you don't know what validators are, or staking pools, or how Ethereum works, this is the platform to help guide you. It essentially is a learning platform. It originated from the ETHStaker group and was a 10-week course actually hosted on Reddit. So each week, effectively, a study group would come together. We would study and read a single article. We would take a test at the end of that week. And after 10 weeks, if you passed all those quizzes, you got an exclusive Studymaster POAP. So basically, it proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that, one, you did all of the work, and then two, that you know what you're talking about in relation to these courses. Now, right now, there's just a single course on the Ethereum Studymaster platform, which is the Ethereum 2.0 Serenity. Basically, it's a deep dive into what is Ethereum 2.0 from the technical side. Goes in depth explaining what the consensus mechanism is, how validation and blocks work, what epochs are, all of the technical stuff. So if you're looking to get into the nitty-gritty, this tries to stay within a 10th grade reading level and boils those things down into its simplest form. That is what this course is. Now, that was sort of the test for it. What we're looking to do with it is really broaden it out and expand, like, what is Ethereum and how do you play within this ecosystem. So there'll be a couple more courses on how to set up a validator node, start to finish, everything that you could possibly know, from the hardware to the software to spinning it up to maintaining that validator, to explaining what NFTs are, how to mint them, why they would be valuable, and how to trade. We want to go through the entire range and answer any questions that anyone could possibly ask within the ecosystem, so that you're not just sitting on the sidelines watching this thing happen. You can actively participate and learn about these things. So the links to all of these things will be in the description. But if you search for Ethereum Studymaster, we've got a video explaining exactly what this is in depth, and then sort of our roadmap. Again, these are additional courses and additional feature sets that we're looking to have to push forward with the additional funding. So that is the Ethereum Studymaster. And just a quick rapid fire shill fest here. All of these programs that we're talking about, Stakehouse, EDDC, Ethereum Studymaster, these are all fresh ideas that have come out of the ETHStaker community. These are all sort of the parent company, if you will. So we do as a group have a grant out there as well that I just want to push out there. I do want to open it up to the both of you just in general, and just if we've got a couple minutes for the both of you to kind of discuss, have you seen anything just in general out there that maybe excited you or you were interested to see when you were perusing the GitCoin platform?
I haven't found, there's a couple projects I was interested in that aren't on there, that I saw at ETH Denver. I'm hoping they would get on there, but one was Ethereum push notification services. They did an ETH Denver presentation. I was hoping they would get on GitCoin, but I haven't seen them.
And I want to echo what Michael was saying about ETHStaker and their grants that they have. The ETHStaker leaders, one of which is Michael, and the rest of the folks are definitely don't want to just like push their grant, because they're very community driven and very humble and very community first. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to shill ETHStaker for a little bit further on top of what Michael said. Truthfully, I sort of came across the ETHStaker community in November. Since then, I've gotten much more involved in staking a ton, made some great friends. Now I'm working on Stakehouse, which is incredibly exciting for me. And the ETHStaker community has been by my side, helping, supporting, getting Stakehouse to where it is now. And I'm confident that Stakehouse will be able to continue to grow with their support. Even like logo design from Michael. Buddha has done so many UX reviews and things like that. ETHStaker supporting things like the EDDC, Studymaster, so many things. And so if you want to see more interesting things like this come into the community, I recommend really looking at that, because they are making so much happen and so much possible.
And actually, to that point, in addition to sort of promoting and facilitating ideas like Stakehouse and EDDC and Studymaster, the ETHStaker community also does events. In fact, I do want to remind everyone of the upcoming events we have even this month. On Saturday, March 13th, we have the live stream of the Rocket Pool Quiz Show. The quiz show, this is the third one we've done this year, is a monthly event where we host a community-driven, basically like a quiz show. So we put up, or like a trivia night. So we put up Ethereum-based questions and compete for prizes and POAPs. This particular event is Rocket Pool themed, so all the questions will be about Rocket Pool to help educate people about the protocol. So again, that is Saturday, March 13th at I think it's 8 p.m. UTC. All of those applicable details are on the ETHStaker website. And then we have our community call coming up to discuss the ETH1, ETH2 merge. That is on Saturday, March 20th at 1 UTC. Again, those details are on our event calendar at ETHStaker.cc. And then finally, the last event we've got scheduled is on the 27th. That is Saturday at 10 a.m. And that is the next installation of the Validator Workshop. So where we take, last time we took a bare metal server, spun it up on the testnet. This time we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it in a different way. We're going to do an MVP version to just show people this is the minimal viable product. This is you want to spin something up quick and dirty, this is what you need to do. And then just answer some questions for newcomers, getting more comfortable with the deposit CLI. What if you lost your keys? How do you regenerate them? Going through some of the maintenance, things like that. So we'll be going through all of that on the 27th. Details for all of that, ETHStaker.cc. Well, unless there's anything from the two of you, I do first and foremost want to thank both of you for your time. This has been awesome. I've loved talking about ETHStaker. I love talking about GitCoin Grant. I love talking about all these projects. I love seeing these things mature and grow. So just exciting stuff. I'm very pumped, and thank you both again for coming and for sharing the projects you've been working on. This is it just blows my mind, the quality that gets shipped out of these communities. Some of these projects are just absolutely amazing. So thank you again for the work you've been putting in.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, thanks for having us here and letting us talk about Stakehouse a little bit. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. All right. You guys have a good one.